Alrighty, folks, welcome back to Tabletop Gaming. We're back with some more D&D. Last time we left off, I almost got stolen by an owlbear.
You almost got eaten by an owlbear.
Nah, he clearly wanted to steal me.
But we killed it.
He wanted to steal you and nurture you as his very own babe.
For some reason.
By devouring you.
I was big and furry. She probably mistaken me for one of her babbies.
It has nothing to do with being randomly, spontaneously lost in the woods.
No, absolutely
As a
not.
fucking
Nope.
druid. Who's meant to know what the fuck they're doing.
The forest is rejecting me.
You had a chance encounter with something unexpected. You managed to beat it to a pulp. You harvested materials again.
I used a new skill. Yada yada.
And you have spent
Somehow managed to stun it.
And you've spent basically the rest of the day dragging those materials and stuff back to the guild. Where, upon your entry, Gunthorpe is like, "Ah, you're back. About the thing."
So I
I'm
just
not-
remember I also remember what time frame it was. The middle of the night.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't the middle of
It
the
was
night.
still the afternoon. Not even.
You might have got it confused because I forgot to update the timer in the top
Yeah.
left, so that was still set to nighttime.
Pretty sure it was just the morning.
They came to find you effectively during the main part of the day because they're like, shouldn't he be fucking back now? And you spent time going and finding him, and you
Not that much,
like
though.
managed to.
Found me almost
Together, you
immediately.
have a much better sense of direction to get back to town and the guild. So yeah,
Yeah.
and you've been informed that there's a place where, even though Gunthorpe can't figure this shit out, he figured out a place where you could go where you might be able to figure it out.
That's it. That's if the party wants to go there.
Yeah,
Assuming
it's
the party would like to actually go there,
Yeah.
a dwarven
you
city.
do technically have two options. There is actually two libraries, but Gunthorpe refers to the Dwarven City first, as you were talking about some kind of stone thing and whatnot, and that's dwarvy stuff. So that's probably a better look to go to first.
There's a higher
And that's
chance
his
you'll get
recommendation.
your questions answered.
Especially since it's in the area.
Well, it's on this planet. That's a good start.
It's closer. Oh no, you're talking that the other library is in another plane?
No, there is a. He will also notify you if you have no luck with the dwarves, even though they should be fine with it's stone stuff. They're used to this. There's also the Great Library in the capital city.
The Great Google Library.
Right.
Which
So-
has records on lots of things.
Right, but consider. Considering there was no information on this gate other than its semi-existence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that would be under lock and key of either location.
Who knows? They're also good at making gates.
Yeah, and
That's another thing they're good at.
technically we don't know about it, so let's not mitigate.
You haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
However, in the meantime, relating to Otto,
Yes.
you've been lost in the woods.
Uh-huh.
During the day, like, it's currently pouring rain outside.
Oh!
And you're realizing
Ah.
that there's a fucking guy who said to go meet him during this time.
Yeah.
It was a little vague, but as you remember what point of time it is, and that you're now actually in the next month, and it seems to be raining, you can only guess that this is the first rain that he's talking about.
Oh my, look at me, look at the time. I have to be somewhere right now. I will see you guys later. You let me know if you need my help. I'm not leaving the city, don't worry, I won't get lost again. I'll be right back, gonna go visit a friend of mine, uptown.
Is anyone going to go with him?
In the interest of you not getting lost in the city, I need to find a taxidermist, anyways, or a
Okay.
clother.
Well,
Taylor.
Swift.
as
Oh.
Otto has his sudden realization, is like, "Don't mind me." Turning to head straight back out after
Yeah, I'm
arrival.
like literally squirming, and then like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going, bye.
It's
And
like,
Zohan's
it's like, ah, shit.
Okay. We just got back. And off he goes.
Yep. So Cayenne's going with.
Yeah, but before he runs off, would I have had time to go see the status of the wolf pelts?
No, because you've literally just got back from the door.
Fair point.
Had this brief Gunthorpe going, oh, I remembered something. Otto, while his Gunthorpe's explaining to you, has gone, oh, I remembered something. And now you're leaving. Going on another trip.
Who had the boar
Hopefully to
pelt?
not get lost this time.
Who had the large boar cut?
Um,
I believe I cut it really well last time.
We have we have a large boar, a regular sized boar, which is what I
Oh no, that wasn't a
going.
boar this time, it was an owl.
Yeah, no, we
owlbear.
also have a bear. Yeah, we have a large boar, an owl bear pelt.
Hey, don't worry about inventory at this moment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember stuff on my own. I'm
Stop
sorry.
slowing down the narrative.
It's a
Eh,
bit of off topic when that's not the way you're going right now.
fine.
So, Cayenne, you chase after Otto as he heads straight back out the door, insisting to everybody that he won't get lost this time. Yada yada yada. And the two of you make your way around the town. Surprisingly, Otto isn't lying this time. He remembers where this place is. He walks past it literally every time he goes out in town. Don't know why.
Neat.
It's like he's addicted.
I need my
And-
stuff, yo!
Yeah, you follow him around, like through town, around the canals, like through the back streets and stuff, and you come to a relatively small house sitting against the northern wall of the city.
Ah, yes, here it is.
Neat.
And, I try the door.
You try the door. What do you mean by try the door?
Well, I knock first and then try opening it. Well, no, maybe I should just knock first. I'm just gonna try knock first. I'm in such a rush.
Okay. So you knock on the door.
Yeah?
And a moment later, there's
Okay.
you hear the sound of a single bolt just sliding, and the door opens a little, and you see the face. Oh crap! Hang on. Da, 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 da. I do have it somewhere.
Suddenly, it's Gunthorpe. Motherfucker!
oh goodness.
Here we go. Da, 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 da. Ah, there we go. Found it. I have forgotten what my shortcuts are. Nope. Go me. This is what happens when I have a week off of D&D. I forget what my shortcuts and shit are.
King oof.
Okay. Also helps if I actually put my zoom to the correct amount. Yoink. Here we go.
Oh no, it's the brown wizard from Lord of the Rings.
No, it isn't.
No,
No, seriously, it isn't.
I know. I'm just making a stupid joke.
And you see this face peering through the opening. And it's just kind of like, he just kind of like stares out at you. Looks down to your feet. He's a bit shorter than you. Looks up to your face. Hello.
I just walk in. I do see the man, but I just my eyes just light up when I see his setup.
So, ignoring the man in the doorway, you try to like head in, and you go to push the door open further, and it doesn't move. It's got his foot against the back of it.
Oh,
that's a bit rude.
my! I'm so forgetful. I am the person who inquired as to trading for herbs.
Did you sign the bottom of the letter?
Sorry,
When you read the letter, did you actually sign the bottom with your name?
Yeah, of course I did.
Okie dokie.
I mean, I did leave an
Ah.
address as well.
It's okay. Ah. So that was you.
Yes.
Well. You're a little late.
I'm
Oh, come in.
terribly sorry. I got lost.
Oh yes, this city is rather big.
Yes, yes, the city.
So, yes, come in, sit down, make yourself at home, kind of, I guess. Sorry about the clutter, I don't really entertain guests very much.
Oof.
Oh
And
no, of course
assuming
not.
Cayenne's going to follow in behind, as you both enter, you see that this is a nice, cozy little house. However, it's mostly not necessarily. It's very cluttered. There's a single table in the center of the room with a seat next to it. There's a fireplace off in the back. And on any kind of shelving or cabinet or anything, any other space available, there is lamps everywhere, hanging off the ceilings, falling like just on left over in cupboards, cuttings here, cuttings there, pots sitting around with things growing in them. You have no idea what most of these are. After like just glancing around. It looks like this guy does a lot of herbalism to some degree.
Why did I feel like the way you said that, it just like big quotation marks on either side? Herbalism.
I don't know.
What would be worse if I saw an elk? I mean, tool set up. Then he's definitely making the weed.
Oh, you like weed? Which kind of weed? Got quite a few weeds.
That was out of character.
Ah, spoil sport.
Yeah, but Cayenne would actually look to see, be looking around and And if she does see
She
an
just like
alchemist,
says, "What is this? A weed?"
yeah, she doesn't know plants. She knows alchemy supply tool things, but not not greatly.
Well, you know that thing over there on the table is a beaker, but you have no idea what the fuck's inside. It seems to be getting used to grow stuff rather than mix things.
Neat.
And every now and again, as you're like looking around, you just find a random like tool for dealing with plants just kind of left there. Nothing seems to have its. Nothing seems to have like any organization. It's just left where it is. The most organized part of this room is the fact that there is a table and the seat is next to it.
Yep, and I know one person that would look at this with just absolute horror. Ugh,
Ooh, I actually don't remember. This is
my
out of character,
mother.
by the way. What?
Kyan's
Oh,
y-
okay.
yeah, no, she's yeah, Kyan saying that she knows someone that would look at this and be in fucking horror.
So, how can I help?
Well, I was
What's
looking.
this?
I was looking
What?
to trade information, herbs, just learn from a seasoned person of the craft. I'm looking to upgrade my knowledge and ability.
Upgrade knowledge and ability.
I have
Uh,
things to trade.
I'm not a teacher.
No, of course not. That's uh hmm. I was wondering if you had any recipes I might be able to purchase. Like not the materials, just things you know that work well together.
He sits there and kind of like thinks for a moment. What's a recipe?
When you put A plus when you put item A plus item B to make item C.
I've never heard of those plants before.
They were examples and not plants, I think.
Well, I do mix a lot of things up. Uh, Not really fond of the city. That's why I'm trying to bring more of the non-city into the city.
And I can understand that.
You see, it's a bit awkward being here, surrounded by stone, shaped by man, dwarf, other fellas. But there's always someone needed to help those that need it.
I mean, I'd argue that herbalism is plants nurtured and built up by man as well, though.
Mm, but they lack the homely touch. Plants are best, like, used from where they choose to grow. That's why I tend to go out and collect them. Um, he seems to be a little lost in his like thought processes. It's like he hasn't communicated. It's like you start getting the feeling that he hasn't really communicated with people in the city that much, even though he lives here. And you also notice, like as you're talking to him, and you're sitting on his like only seat, he's kind of like rather than sitting on the seat himself, he's like crouched down
On the seat or crouched?
No, on the floor.
Huh.
He kind of looks like you know how dogs sit with their hind legs,
Well, I was about to say, like, if he was sitting that,
and then
sitting like
he's
that on
like
the
crouched down. He's like crouched down on the floor,
Yeah, I was saying it.
but he's got it like he's just got his arms like in front of him, like going down.
Yeah,
Like
that
between.
sounds like L from Death Note.
Yeah, but he's not eating sweets.
Yeah. Okay. Zyke is back. Alrighty, well, I've brought, these, fine lovelies with me, and I, pull out my bag with all of my, bits and pieces of, all of the things that I've collected that aren't in the
All of
garden.
the things.
Yeah, all of the things.
Oh god. Open the. Going to make me look at the things. Are you like? Are you offering? Are you actually? I'm assuming you're offering these to him.
Yeah, I'm using them as bartering to maybe glean either information for recipes or maybe getting some new plant seeds or you know, plant cuttings, stuff that I can grow in the garden to be a little bit more effective at making things. And I expressed myself up to that effect to him.
Well, that grows everywhere. That also grows everywhere.
Yeah.
I recommend you don't eat this one. That
Wait.
one will give you.
No, what is he
Blade.
pointing at? What is he pointing at?
He's pointing at he's kind of like going through the stuff that you're like handing over to him, and it's like he goes through like the muscamole, and he's like that shit grows everywhere.
Yeah.
That grows everywhere. It's like goes through another one. It's all like nah, that grows everywhere too. This one, this root, don't eat this. This will end up with a bad day.
Can you be more descriptive? I some of these plants I still don't know the effect myself, and I'd like to note that in my journal.
So in your inventory, the jarring root, he's recommending not to eat that. You'll end up having a bad time. He keeps going through. It's like, oh god, there's so many of these. Give me a moment. I need to actually get the other page up for this one. This. Nope, not that one. Why are you making me go to all the sheets that I didn't have open?
You knew this was coming. You straight up
Yeah,
knew
but
this
you're
was
asking
next.
like.
Bro, you know I want to know what the question mark plants are, and I have nobody better than a master in the field.
Banana.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's the fact that the list of things is like I've got like 500 things in a list here.
Dude, just control F5. Or sorry, control yeah.
That will just refresh the page.
Control F, I mean. Eh.
I haven't. I've got it set up as a search engine, but the things you're asking me aren't like I haven't filled in all the blocks. That is the problem. Right, so.
Dude, you know what was coming to him for specifics.
So the jarring root will cause you. If you're asking more details, he'll say it's like, gives you a really bad headache. Then what's next?
Hot bulbs.
Hot bulbs. Where have you gone? Ah. These are good if you ever want to go swimming.
Little bit more context. Are they water walking, water breathing?
Walking? I said swimming.
Okay, so, do they increase swimming speed? Effectiveness in water?
Well, unless you can turn into a fish, then yes. And as he says, like, turn into a fish, he kind of like just waves his arm around in some like flappy fish pattern. It's like,
I mean, I can turn into a fish, but, I cannot say the same for my comrades.
you can turn into a fish.
Yes, I am a druid.
You seem to have caught his attention.
You even stared at a fish for an hour?
that a
No,
fish
it's
now?
it's a class advancement thing. I got it recently.
Not that recently. I think you actually
A month and
got
a
it like
half.
on your first level up. You just haven't used it.
Yeah. Well,
um,
I have used one of my amphibious creatures already. The crocodile.
Yes, but not the fish.
No, not the fish.
But you seem to have. He seems to suddenly have way more like attention like, upon you talking about turning into a fish.
You said the right words.
Are you sure you can turn into a fish? You're a bit of a big furry fella. That doesn't do well in water.
Do you want proof?
One moment. And he gets up and he heads over to his fireplace and he picks up basically a cauldron from next to it. And like, over here. If you could turn into a fish, you should be able to fit in here.
Can I insight this?
What are you trying to glean from the inside?
Yeah, I'm kind of
Is he going to try to eat him?
I'm kind of glancing at Cayenne now.
Oh, no. There doesn't seem to be any, like... I won't even make you roll. He doesn't seem to have any, like, evil intention in this. He just kind of, like, prove it.
Okay, then.
I raise my eyebrow at Cayenne.
You're good. You're clear. He just wants to prove. Yeah, he just wants proof.
Okay. Yeah, I forget. Is transformation instantaneous or does it take time?
It's basically,
Like
a second or two.
like a poof or like a slow transformation?
Not a slow transformation, a quick transformation. It's like the way I imagine it is like your body kind of like starts morphing into.
Okay, so it's Animorphs,
animal,
but faster.
Quite quick rate.
Okay.
Yeah, druids are quick animorphs. Any polymorph spell is fucking
Instantaneous. I know polymorph spell is instantaneous.
Magical girl transformation, no.
Yeah.
Not that kind of thing. It's you do your body actually kind of like. So if you like turn into if you're going to turn into your fish, you effectively will like shrink down rapidly.
All right, I'll jump in.
And you're going to jump in.
Not
right?
like literally jump in.
No, you're probably better trying to jump in. Can you make an
acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
Crap. Oh no,
Yeah,
I have no bonuses.
Yeah, you kind of
Oh,
screwed yourself on
no!
that.
So knowing the fish needs water, and you have to end up in
Oh,
this
that was pretty good.
cauldron that you currently are way too big for, you jump forward as you like start to transform, and your body quickly shrinks down. Your arms kind of like suck in to where your hand like it's a bit weird. It's like your arms disappear, but your hands still stick out, and then they turn into like into fins.
Oh my gosh, this sounds like a
As you're,
description
like-
of an Animorphs thing. It's great. I
As
love
your
it.
like legs kind of like seal themselves together to become like a single tail, and there's a plop as you land in the cauldron. It's a bit hot.
Oh.
Because it's over a fire.
Dumbass didn't actually.
No, it wasn't over the fire.
was
It's been
beside the
sitting
fire.
next to the fire.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
not-
It's not boiling,
You-
but it's also not comfortable.
There's just this. It's just an shit. This is hotter than I expect. You know, like when you stick your hand under the hot tap,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Yep,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's definitely hot."
Should-
There's a moment of panic in your little current fish mind going before you realize you're not actually cooking alive,
Okay.
and and you kind of like look up out of the cauldron, and and all you see is this hand come down and grab your tail and pick you up, and he seems to like hold you in front of his face.
Quick, Otto, kick!
You see a bit of a grin.
Flail!
You have a certain "oh shit, is he going to eat me?" moment,
Try flail.
and then and then he just throws you on the floor.
I transform back.
You don't get a choice. He's basically forcing you to transform back. He knows how this works. He knows if you get hit hard enough, you're gonna have to go back.
Okay.
So you just take like you hit the floor and you take like some
Uh,
it feels like someone smacks you on the
yeah,
head
some
pretty hard,
arbitrary
and
damage that knocks me out of it. Yeah.
and you suddenly like increase in size and find yourself staring up at this old fellow, and it's like,
I just like rub my head.
you're
on-
only
Go
it's
ahead.
like you must be one of those younglings.
I just rub my head. I'm like, could you warn me next time, please?
Well, if you can transform into a fish, you should know how fishes work.
I'm quite aware of how fishes work, but it's not exactly like I was expecting you to knock me out of the form like that.
Well, I just had to make sure. So you're a youngling. That explains the obsession with the plants.
I just want to be helpful to my team.
Team.
Kind of just trying to process young wings like that's supposed to mean something. Then she's like, "Oh, right, old and young, got it right." That's just in her head.
So you've yet to master your forms.
Yes, I'm still working through it. I'm still early into my vocation.
Hmm. So why the fuck are you in this place? You're much better off out there, seeing the animals, seeing the life. You won't learn nothing here in a city.
While I agree, I'm still trying to learn about the herbs that I own and the things I still have yet to learn as well. And I figured that a good start would be a little bit closer to the city for now, before I head off. In fact, we should be on our way out of town in the near future.
Good, it's boring sitting here for so long.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go out, you have to learn. Nature is the
You cut out.
Guy, yeah, you cut out, man.
No, I stopped talking because I was cutting out the background sound of someone with the most terrible backfiring vehicle.
Ooh.
It wasn't
Why?
even like one; it was literally down the road. Anyway,
Kyan sticks her head out at the door.
The best-
Fucking people racing horses.
the best teacher for you would be nature itself.
Indeed.
If you want to learn what all of these do, what you can do, you need to get out there. Gotta try it yourself. Learn as the inner creature you are would intend to learn. Instinct.
So you aren't willing to teach me anymore?
I said I'm not a teacher.
So bite a carrot, get high. Got it.
Can we trade still? Or is there nothing in my bag that interests you?
He takes a moment and goes, yeah, I should probably look at the rest. Can't really teach. This whole idea of a recipe, that boggles my mind. You have to use your natural instincts to figure out what's good for you and what's bad for you. And how it's good for you and bad for you. Give me a minute to go through your fucking sheet again.
Damn it. I'll be right back. I think dinner's ready.
Alright.
I have an odd idea. Using his information, and I'm wondering if you'd allow me in the future to try it.
Context.
Well, I do have instincts as a druid, but I figured, well, I mean, my animal forms can sense things better than I can. What if I used my wolf form and just started sniffing my ingredients and see if the wolf knows?
Are you asking me as a DM, or are you asking in like as
Well-
like to translate better, or?
Yeah, I mean, like, he said use instincts. I mean, what better instincts than one of my
You're
animal
kind of
forms?
along the right lines of what the fuck he's telling you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Not necessarily the wolf form, but the you're on the right thought process.
Okay. Well, my
Um,
my second guess would be, like, bear, because he's omnivorous.
Yeah, you have to kind of like, you have to be one with the beast inside,
Yeah.
and you also have to be open to the nature that surrounds you.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes through he'll go through the rest of your stuff, seeing as you're here. Hot balls was the last one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tower shrooms you already know. Nightleaf. Nightleaf is helps you in the dark times. Basically, so translation for you: dark vision.
Hmm.
Hanging moss. Hanging moss is good for your health. Oh, this one's interesting. That one you'll have to learn yourself. That's the fly I'm having it. He won't tell you what it does. He just says you're gonna have to learn it yourself.
That's fine. I'm gonna guess Trauma Root is anticoagulant because of its name.
No, just don't use it on a stormy day. And the last one is... Oh god. Huh. This one's very good for your health. Actually, can I keep this one?
I don't know. What are you willing to trade me for it?
Hmm. How about a teacher? Not this, but something else.
Go on.
See, there's not many of us around anymore. You're the first youngling I've seen in a very long time. So I'm willing to teach you. Is that even the right word?
Imprint?
No. Teach is the wrong word.
Pass along?
Impart.
Ah.
Some knowledge. In exchange for those.
Alright.
You trade them for... Trading them for...
Well, they're
knowledge.
not doing much in my bag right now because I haven't really figured anything out with it yet. So
Okay,
I'll give it a try.
I'm not going to take them out your bag. I'm just going to note they're the ones that get traded.
Okay.
So I can make them... Mark it down later.
You
properly.
just reset all of my text.
Oh, no. It reset all the text.
Yeah.
Fuck. Also beep beep.
Ignore that. That was Amber Alert.
Yeah, I know, I recognize that. My phone does the same sound. Yeah, you reset all my text changes.
Do I need to quickly go through it again?
Yeah.
Right, hang on. I'm gonna...
Well, actually, I could probably change it by looking at the VOD afterwards.
Right, no, I'm gonna close your sheet and look at your stream so I can actually see it without clicking on things. Right, so... Nightleaf is dark vision.
What about oh, right,
Pot balls are good for swimming.
Hanging moss?
Hanging moss is just good for your health.
Fly Amanita?
Double check that one because I've got it off the top of my head.
I mean, I know Fly Amanita in IRL is a strong
Oh yeah, that's
poison.
the one he says to test for yourself. He won't tell you what that does.
Ah, yes, right. That's the one I put an exclamation on. Trauma Root, don't use during stormy weather.
Yep. And the last one is the one he'll impart knowledge for.
Okay.
So that's the one you're trading.
Yes.
Right. Have you ever wondered why I would be here?
Well, I'm assuming you're a druid, right?
Yes.
Have you
But
been
why?
here longer than the city?
Good guess. This used to be a forest. The whole area. All the way down to the lake. That is why I'm here.
So progress happened, but you decided not to leave.
I can't leave. This is my station.
Ah, yes.
So, you said something about people. Can't remember the exact words. A group?
Yes. We're, part of an adventuring guild.
Oh, that's disappointing. I thought you meant your circle.
No, I haven't been in touch with my circle for a long time now.
That is unfortunate. Well, I am still in touch with mine. That's where I've been. To the gathering. Every circle should have its gatherings to discuss important matters. Now, which circle was your circle?
We never wrote that down.
Make it up.
So does it, can I have an example of what they're supposed to sound like? Like, Circle of the Root or something? I don't know.
They're kind of right. So, mechanics wise, you obviously know you're a moon druid,
Oh, okay,
but
that's
there's
it.
a lot of moon druids, so it's not that kind of. But it's the same kind of naming criteria that your circle is. Usually, the circle of the druid would normally be related to something that druid's attached to. So,
Circle of the
for
Shattered
instance,
Crescent.
so if you if I should probably explain this for everybody's case anyway.
Yeah.
So the way it works here is like you have your general circles, which is your mechanics and stuff for your classes and stuff. Now, a circle there could be one of the circles would be like the circle of the Beastkin,
Okay.
which would effectively be a group of druids that solely work with beasts and stuff rather than plants and stuff. So they're more likely to be like moon druids mechanically wise,
Okay.
or some sense, because that's what they deal with. So that's kind of the naming convention.
Hmm.
So can you think of a name on the spot for your own, or do you want me to make one up for you?
Circle of the Wandering Wolf.
Huh. Interesting. That would explain why I haven't seen you before. Guess you travel a lot.
I do.
Well, do you know of any other circles? The answer to this is yes.
Yeah, yes.
I'm not going to make you think of names and shit on
Uh,
the spot for all of them.
I have
But you
come into
basically
contact with a few in my travels, yes.
right. Have you ever come? It is unlikely, but have you ever met anyone from the Primal Path?
I actually don't know what that is.
This is the point. You haven't.
Okay. No.
This
Not...
would be easier if you could see me gesturing and stuff, so you could make sense of the words
Yeah.
a bit better. Because like I'm sitting here trying to gesture through my monitor to you. It's like this is where you say no, because this is what I'm expecting from you.
You
If
just
say
gestured
yes,
to
I'm
all
going
of
to call
me.
bullshit on you.
No.
Right. So, each druid circle, even though we're a big spag, has some kind of tie to nature and how they feel best connected to it. For example, you're wandering and whatnot. That's indication that the circle you are a part of travels, sees the world, so to see, wants to experience all of nature's finest things. So, if you were to look at me and look at all my plants, what would you think my circle would be? Don't have to get it exactly right. Just take a guess.
Circle of the Rooted Tree.
Oh, that's a good name. There should be a circle called that somewhere. I don't think there is. No.
You seem
You see-
bound to this land.
Well, kind of. I am actually part of the primal path.
Okay.
We are probably some of the oldest druids around. Though it's hard to tell seeing as we don't come across each other very often, especially nowadays. But being a part of the primal path means I have a deeper connection to the world. And right now, I'm going to impart the knowledge to you that we have learnt.
Okay.
The balance is no longer balanced. Each of me and the other members of my circle, which are remaining, all sense that something's a bit off. Nature can't correct itself. There are strong forces at play that may end up affecting all of us. So, I impart this to you so that you know that you need to adapt. Or if we don't, nature may bring a ruin to all.
So you're saying for there to be balance, nature needs to balance itself.
There is a balance in everything when it comes to nature. And right now, that balance is off. I can sense it in the earth beneath me. And my other friend can sense it on the wind. That's where we've been. We've had to have a gathering. Lately things are running amok. But none of us know why.
Would that potentially have something to do with something that we found recently?
I don't know that.
I start to describe the last adventure.
Sorry, I had to. That's a Monty Python reference because you gave me.
Oh my goodness.
I start to describe.
I just saw an opportunity and went, fuck
Yeah.
it.
What's the speed of an average swallow?
African or European?
I don't know that.
Somehow Zoho just flies out of the building. How did he get here?
I am not here, but I'm heard in the
Sorry, I
distance.
distracted
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. So I start describing the
But
last.
seriously, he doesn't. He wouldn't know any of your doings.
Well, so even if I describe him what the last adventure was like, he's not gonna know.
No,
Okay.
it's like you can describe it to him
Yeah.
rather than going through every
Yeah, I'm trying to
minor
describe
little
it to him
detail.
and tell him that the platform made me feel like wrong somehow as well.
He
That could
looks
have
a
been.
little concerned. And when was this?
About a week ago, I think. I think it was a week ago.
It was.
Like when the actual weather effects happened.
Yeah, no, like. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. Like an entire full week after that festival that was here
Yeah.
on the Harvest Moon.
Oh. Well, I've been having this feeling for a bit longer than that.
Oh, that is concerning.
However, my companion said he only felt it about a week ago. He said the wind started. Hmm. Well, I'm not sure what you did, but I guess it could be connected, at least by time.
Well, whatever it was, we ended up breaking it when we were interacting with it, so maybe that helped balance things out?
Hmm. Well, I don't understand all, but the timing is a little coincidental.
Our companion seem to have also found what we assumed to be an air elemental as well.
That wasn't fun.
He looks over to Cayenne.
What?
He's making a bit of an assumption to which friend.
Oh,
No.
not this friend. The friend I am referring to is a monk.
Yeah, no, not me.
Could we see him?
Sure. Right now or later?
How about now?
Okay, are you coming with us, or are we bringing him to you?
I'm coming with you.
Oh, good. You get to see the house.
Oh no. What have I done? Alright, right this way.
Stirred up all kinds of trouble.
And we'll lead him back to the guild house.
So we all head back to the guild.
I swear, if he knows the guild master already,
Oh no.
I
Does he
wouldn't
open
be
the door
I
first?
wouldn't be surprised, to be quite honest.
Does he try to open the door?
No, he's following you.
Damn it.
An Otto.
Okay. What's his reaction when he sees the outhouse?
Doesn't seem too disturbed by it.
Right this way, sir. And I walk through.
Okay. So you enter together and he takes a look around. It's like, so which one of you is the wind one?
That would be this friend, and I gestured to Zoho. We were
Zoho-
As he's kind of like pouring the floor with his feet. You know, like when you see like cats and dogs like trying to walk on like proper shiny lino, like or tile, and they just like it's like this doesn't feel right. Why is Kaite ambering everywhere?
Zota, Zoho, Zoho, Zoho is sitting at a nearby table, writing in his journal, recounting the fight with the owlbear. When he hears a strange voice saying, "Which one of you is the wind one?" he immediately looks over at the old druid. Hello?
I zoned out. This is all out of fault.
Yes, this is my, new acquaintance, an elder druid. We met recently. I was, trying to, trade with him. And he was curious as to your wind elemental you acquired recently.
Zoho tilts his head to one side. My wind elemental.
Sword.
The sword.
Oh, Sabakaze. He reaches behind him on his belt and takes out the sheathed sword and places it on the table. You mean... And gestures to it, to the old druid. Yes, a gift from a wind elemental I impressed in a duel? I think
Tell
that's
me
how
everything.
And he's immediately up in Zaha's face. Well, very well. And he begins recounting how the wind elemental appeared before them after they had gone through a twisting forest labyrinth.
And wanted a one-on-one.
Without really telling us.
Yeah, and freaking actually killing, or, well, knocking me unconscious.
And after he also recounted how even though he didn't come close to being her, he impressed this air elemental enough to have her gift him with the sword. And that's about it.
So yeah, if you ever wandered into a fog and just ended up back where you started, yeah, that's where that was. Also on top of that gate that we were mentioning.
Gonna have to get another meeting.
Zoho immediately looks at Otto. Meeting? What meeting?
Druid things.
Ah.
As Kaite starts running circles around him, he kind of finally notices. Well, sorry, my lady. I must be off. It is terribly important. And he bows to Kaite, and then he heads off.
Excuse me?
Zoho immediately goes, did he just call Kaite lady?
Well, I thought you all knew.
We all know Kaite is a girl.
Okay, what's going on in his head? Surface level.
as you try to detect his thoughts as he's going through the door, he turns around, looks at you, and goes, "Keep out my head."
First of all, rude. You should be able to tell me I'm not diving deep. Second of all, fair.
All right then. I see him to the door. I hope that was enough information and it was helpful. I hope to see you again in the future when it is convenient for both of us.
I didn't know.
Well, I'm gonna have to call a meeting. It's quite urgent. I would invite you, but unfortunately you're not in the circle, so...
Understandable.
Circle business.
Good luck, and I hope...
Sorry, my lady, I wouldn't advise eating my robes. I'm not entirely sure what's on them.
Apologies for Kaete. She's rather rambunctious.
Kayate is Kayate. There is no defining what she does or why.
Exactly. But how Rill puts it. Speaking of, where is Rill? Is she sleeping? Oh,
She's right next to me.
She's right.
Right there.
No, she's behind. She's in front of you.
ah.
Wait, are you gonna include any information in about, like, to us from this meeting, or like?
That's what I said. Kayate is Kayate. There is no defining what she does or why.
I believe that was directed at me, Thorin.
Oh, okay.
Also going to take Cayenne's question is to the druid as he leaves.
Yeah, because she wants to know, like, if because I was gone, I technically only heard the tail end of it. Of the plane is kind of being a bit funky.
Oh, right. So I'll go through it in a second. You're on about the bit that you missed because you went to deal with food or whatever, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so he bows again to Kayate, and then he steps out the door, and you see him immediately transforms into some kind of bird that you don't recognize, and heads off directly north towards the forest again.
Okay.
Zoho just stands there going, okay, that was the strangest guest we have ever had at the guild house. Ever.
Technically, he's the only one we've let into the guild house.
So far.
I hope
Zoho
you
adds,
were okay with that, Guildmaster. We had to come on short notice. We didn't have a lot of time.
It's totally original voice that I can't remember which one I did. Oh, it's all fine. It is pretty much the same voice. Fuck. I accidentally did it again. Old voice and well, they're technically both old. So
Yeah, they're both old.
old!
No, it's fine. Curiously trap, but seemed no harm.
Yes,
Looked a bit worried about something, but
Yeah,
he didn't
yes.
ask for help.
Apparently, there's something wrong with nature's balance, and
Is that what I zoned out on?
I need a lot more experience in my vocation.
Basically, something's out of whack with
Nature.
He
And
can feel something wrong in the earth. His fellow circle member feels something on the winds.
yeah, and I asked
It's
for
like
I asked for
it's like something's not balancing right, and it's not like. Think about it like best explanation would be think of it not necessarily balances in scales, but like trying to spin a plate,
balance
but
on
it's
the
going
force.
a little too slow. So it's all like as it kind of like corrects itself, it's overshooting
Oh, okay.
and going the other way. And
So basically, someone's trying to spin a plate on a stick, with the stick being in the mid. Well, however, or it's slowly sliding to the gripping edge of the bottom of the plate, but it's still spinning.
yeah, it's like an off-balanced wheel. It's doing the wobbly. Like coin, for example, when it spins and it starts going slow, it goes because it get like speeds up, slows down, speeds up, because it's just can't find the point of stability.
Yeah, and when I
anymore.
pointed out specifics like maybe it had something to do with us messing with the table or the platform, he said one of their members felt that, but that wasn't the problem because apparently it was around before that.
Correction. What he felt has been going on for longer.
Yeah.
The time is a bit coincidental with the other member and what they feel on the winds.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And that's why I pointed out the wind elemental, and maybe that might help or whatever. That's why we're here.
And that, huh?
And you
can I
never
just
even asked his name.
Damn it!
Zoho
Wait, you-
face palms. Uh,
Cayenne just turns to Odd. Oh, just did you tell him anything about what elements we were?
Not particularly.
Okay,
well, he did
if-
ask you to tell him everything, and then basically came to collaborate what you were saying with Zoho.
Yeah, I specified
times and shit.
specific. Yeah, it specified specific elements, but I didn't specify everybody's elements.
all he knows is that Zoho is wind.
Yeah, wind aspect, and then he has gained the favor of a wind elemental.
Okay, so he only knows Soho at the moment.
Mainly, yeah. And he probably has a good understanding of what I am, anyways, because you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, we made up a name for my circle. Yay!
Yeah, you should note that down so you don't forget it.
Yeah, I really should.
So, there was a nice bit of,
not using it, I'm reading it.
and then a sudden, I've got to go. I need to call another meeting.
Nyom. And he just bolts.
And he basically just once he's out the building, he goes he turns into a bird and flies off as fast as he can.
Flappity flappity flappity
There.
flap.
And it's still pouring with rain.
Written
It's
down.
not suitable flying weather.
So yeah, you were there for it, so I'll just tell you, Faye, I am the Circle of the Wandering Wolf.
What was that old man's name?
Oh, jeez. I was so caught up in the moment I never asked.
Again, Zoho face palms.
I can still talk to him from here, so
I don't think so.
I
think he's out of
need to
your
know
range by
where
now.
his location is.
Don't you have to know his name to do that?
no, I just have to meet him. I just have to meet someone once within 30 feet of me.
Okay.
That checks out, I think. Then again, I don't know much about magic.
It's like a phone call to somebody you know. Oh, I thought it
Ring,
doesn't have.
ring, ring.
Oh, this one isn't the one where you have to know their general location.
Yeah, no, that's
that's
message.
the other one.
That's
Yeah.
message, and that's 120, and that's like 120 feet.
Yeah, you have to know
from
the
me.
general location to send the message. You basically get are you actually trying to send the message to him?
You get a busy signal.
Yeah, I just look and basically. Then you said, you're saying, "Hey, yeah, quick question. What was your name? We never got it. Would be nice. I'm Cayenne, by the way." He knows exactly who's sending it.
He knows exactly who's sending it.
He's an elder, of
the-
course
the-
he knows.
He literally says, "Name's Wirral. Now get the fuck out my head."
Oh yeah, there was another piece of information that you might have missed. Apparently this druid has been here before the city was founded.
Okay, yeah, that tracks.
So he's been around longer than Carnell?
Yes, apparently this area was a brook and a forest.
Oh, it was forest all the way down to where the lake is.
That's what I mean. Like I'm assuming there was like a small waterway, because there is an existing waterway in the city itself.
No, the river still existed in that.
That's what I mean.
Is that how you spell that?
Whirl. Not well.
It's like squirrel, except no SQ.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Viral. Whirl.
Whirl.
Whirl. So
And
it's pronounced whir. So it's pronounced as whirl. It's just not worded as whirl.
No, it's pronounced whirl.
Okay.
I'm assuming
confused.
it's
I'm
that's a
confused.
double R.
So confused.
roll up the rim to win.
Well, I would come back inside and just say, apparently his name is Whirl.
Well, he's now
Alright.
the druid known as World. Well,
So wild dog.
Good to know.
Huh. Thank you.
He's also annoyed with me.
Well, I mean, I would be too if you kept jumping into my mind like that.
Well, if I'm completely honest, I have no idea how someone can tell I'm using detect thoughts.
He's an
you
elder
feel you in his
druid.
head.
Yeah, but usually you don't. When you dive deeper.
He's an
Yeah, weird,
elder
innit?
druid.
Just because he's an elder
Oh.
druid doesn't mean that everyone should be able to tell the difference, even at his age.
You don't even know his age. We don't
He
even
was
know
here-
the city's age.
I'm sure we could find that out.
Gunthorpe, do you know how old the city is?
Not off the top of my head, but I can find out.
No, it's fine.
You just need to check the records in the record building.
Neat.
Stop stirring stuff up unnecessarily.
Wait, we agree on something.
Look, I'm bored and we didn't fine. And I didn't see a taxiderm. It's our tail are on the way there, okay?
I simply look at Cayenne, and that warrants starting more trouble for us given everything that is currently going on.
Well, considering that nature's apparently off path. And we're already at the center of it, so
Yes, but that doesn't mean add to it. There will be a time and a place, but right now is not the time and place, as we have a decision to make anyways.
Yes, we
right.
I'm sorry for going off track. He did specify a very specific time, and I was already late to get there. I'm glad I was
Uh-huh.
able to do that quickly. Now let's get on to business, shall we?
So,
And what, pray tell, is this business?
we have to decide if we are going to the library in... I forget the name of the Dwarven city.
So off the top of my head.
Hammerstone.
No, I think
It
they're
started
have
with
a
a
list.
B.
It started with a B, yeah.
B-E.
I'm immediately disinterested in books.
Here we go. Got it. This one was easier to find because this is a short list.
Marauder.
Marauder. Or we can go to the capital. As such, I would say to avoid the capitals, there will be more bureaucratic tape and problems to deal with to get into the library.
I agree. I'd rather be closer to nature.
Not to mention, and who knows, whoever's there could just not be friendly.
Which is why I would suggest Barad-dûr. Simply because it is a dwarven city and I have been there. And perhaps I might be able to talk with some of my clansmen who would be able to give us access to the library with a much greater ease.
The dwarf wants to speak with the dwarves.
Maybe I can get some underground or Earth-related transformations while we were in the area. I get a little excited and stuff like that.
I raise
Yeah.
an eyebrow. The likelihood of that within the city limits is very low. If
Hey,
you're
you'd be
willing to get
surprised.
lost,
You're never more than a few feet away from a spider at all times. You know that, right?
I chuckle. Yes, but any significant creatures would be in the abandoned mine shafts surrounding the city. Good.
Moles, they'd be common.
Mine abandoned mine shaft.
Mm-hmm. It is a dwarven city. There are plenty of mines around, and plenty of them have been mined to the point where there is nothing left to mine. Therefore, they are abandoned.
Interesting.
Not that
never
I would
know.
suggest.
Go ahead.
Not that I would suggest venturing into any of those immeasurable labyrinths that they are.
Besides, I could possibly get something from a pet from one of your clansmen.
A shrug.
A
It's-
pet.
Who knows? That's why life is so damn it, I lost track of thought. Such a surprise. You never know what you're going to come across.
Well, then, shall we put it to the vote to see if we shall go or not?
I say we go there. I'd rather not go to the capital. I feel less at home when I'm in bigger cities.
I
like it.
actually.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. While there may be more information to be gleaned from the capital city, I would suggest Barad instead. I am a monk, after all. Coming from a monastery, it's best to have less civilization around than more. Not to mention, and capital cities are like a labyrinth of tall buildings. You could easily get lost. Glances at Rill.
I mean, we nearly got lost in this city, and it's tiny in comparison.
I look at
Yeah,
Cayenne. And
Look, I'm avoiding that place because I have no idea what's there, and I'd rather go speak to dwarves who have longer lifespans than humans.
You don't want to go talk to some druids.
I'm just standing there with my arms crossed, just like nodding with him.
So
Just gonna point out furbogs don't tend to live longer than that much longer than humans.
Really?
Same with
I could have sworn they were like at least half age longer.
Compared to other races, not that much longer.
Okay.
yeah,
Josh,
basically
stop dying!
Impossible.
I will die if I wish.
Yeah, Cayenne's basically under the mindset that the dwarves might have a bit more information because they've been around longer.
Yeah, kind of the same boat. Plus,
I look at-
they know rocks better.
I look at Rill. Perhaps we could find you a mount while we're there. There are some interesting creatures that dwarves use in the mines.
Ooh, that sounds lovely.
I'm not getting us a boat.
Blink.
I look at Otto and whisper, "Shut up." I look back at Rill. And besides, we would be traveling through the woods and along the river on the way there. Maybe.
Stop playing cards.
Slap. I slap Cayenne on the shoulder.
That was out of character.
Yes, it was.
Okay, then I don't do that.
I don't think Go Fish exists. Similar games, but not Go Fish.
I look at Rill. So, Would you like to go? I could even get you some more of that dwarven ale that you like.
Oh yes, that would be very common in a dwarven city.
Mm. Hmm.
Maybe even some armor for Kayate.
I was thinking the same thing. What is up with today?
I
He-
look at Otto with a look that straight up says, "Shut up, or I will kill you."
Zoho just now, everyone. He looks at Rill. So, what do you
Whoa!
think?
Oh, there they go.
Meow.
Why is she scowling at me?
Because you're being a smarty pants while I'm trying to talk to
I'm
her.
not trying to be a smarty pants. I'm trying to help.
I look at Otto. Let me do the negotiating. Shush.
Be my guest.
Zoho pats Otto on the shoulder. Perhaps it's best to leave this to our dwarven friend.
Fine. I'm gonna go get some air. I think I need to think
I'm
on
gonna
everything that
follow
I've gone
Rill.
through today, anyways.
And apologize for Otto. And then proceed to go. All I would like to know is if you would be willing to go with Begadir to Baradir with us.
Merida.
Be,
And-
be, I almost want to say Baradur
Yeah.
because of the way it's pronounced. For freak
Barador.
sakes.
But yeah, no, I take a step outside because I'm just like I'm so
Done.
confused about what today was like at this point, and I just need to be outside for a bit.
Yeah, you almost get kidnapped by an owlbear. We get back to town. You remember, oh shit, I'm late. And now the druid's gone to talk to more druids.
I shake my head. No. And perhaps I could talk one of my skilled clansmen into making armor for Kayate. Light armor, of course, unless you would like something else.
Oh my.
Dragon.
Dragon.
Well, I'm waiting for your response here. I'm kind of curious as to what kind of response I'm gonna
He's
get.
working on it.
No, I know that's what's about to kill me. I might just die.
No.
Every time I laugh, I just go into a coughing fit, and if I end up laughing here, I'm gonna go into a serious coughing fit. But I'm okay with that. It just means we're having fun.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yep.
Okay. I step up in front of Kayate and I kneel down. I will keep the promise for the armor. You're just gonna have to make that choice. And I stroke Kayate's head and then walk away. Mm,
Lim.
I chuckle as I walk away.
Oh crap.
So, all unanimous?
Yes. Cayenne, would you like to bring Otto back in so we can finish our discussion on this as we have all agreed to go? I need to turn the fan on. Cayenne?
Faye?
He's dead. Spontaneously self-combusted.
No!
Oh, I forgot I muted myself.
Ah.
Oh,
Cayenne will go get on, but then go to Kaite and be like, I don't, huh, huh. Well, that's a thought.
I just like rejoin the group while like holding the bridge of my nose and just breathing. Not because of them, just because of all the crap that happened.
Hmm.
Right. So let me just get this correct. You guys want to go to Beride.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
How are you planning on getting there?
That is a good question.
Well, there's two options. You can go by cart, or you can go by boat.
Which would take longer.
The
Cart
cart
would take longer.
We have to go. Sorry.
Well, considering we're probably still negotiating, I say we go by cart. We get to see more of the landscape while we do.
I just chuckle at this. You just want to get more forms as well, mister.
Hey, do you blame me? I'm still a learning druid.
I let out a hearty laugh. I'm not surprised. However, I'll leave it to you. Keep in mind, if we go by boat, we do have to pay for the storage of the horse and cart at the stable.
It's already paid for.
Yeah, it's been paid for a month now.
You paid for like a month up front, so
Yeah, but who knows how long we're gonna be gone.
How long is the trip there?
depends on whether you're going by boat or cart.
Okay, if we go by cart.
A while. Put it this way: a boat will get you there twice as fast. It'll get you back about 3 times as fast.
I would honestly say a boat because it's straight there and we drop. And aren't they like along this river as well? Specifically, actually, I don't know which
Yes.
side.
So reminder on the world layout is you've got 2 rivers coming out, one on the east side of Carnell and one on the west. The one on the east leads up towards the capital. The one on the west actually goes to Berida.
I,
I
Were
would
we all-
suggest.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Were we all told that Cartel gets iron from Berider?
I think they learned it when they were blacksmithing.
All the ores and stuff that come into Carnell, well, not all of them, but the vast majority of them come down
From
from
Berider.
Berida or that region, as that's the mountains. That's where most of the mining will go, and then they ship it down by boat for what they basically. So basically, not ore itself, but like ingots and stuff are shipped down to Carnell from
Okay, so
Berida for
processed
the
metals.
local blacksmiths to actually work.
Right. Okay.
And then from there, whatever they make could end up anywhere because Carnell's just trading central. There's always boats and carts and stuff coming in and out. That's why the market changes every day.
I would say boat would be better.
Yeah, I would also say boat because we could because then we could technically go back and see if we could break something even further, but not.
What?
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 I don't know.
Cayenne, do you want to mess with the forces of nature some more?
Well, I mean, you can't really mess with something that's broken, now can you? You can just break it more.
I look at Cayenne with a steely look that says, "You do that, I hurt you."
Look. You wanted to get bits of it anyways.
See, that's different, but messing with something that even nature rejects, Ooh.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Bad idea.
No.
Wait, hang on.
Because of what was written on it from however long ago it was made, it reacted to the elements, and definitely if something's amiss with the elements, Danny knows something, or at least whoever she's working for knows something. I just think, even if we get a small piece of it that would help us in any form of capacity, would be nice. And if it's just a useless piece of metal, then Thorn can make a dagger or something out of it.
If you could shape it. We're not
Okay.
Right. Okay. Hang on. Are you suggesting you want to go and try and get a bit of the?
yeah.
game?
She suggesting that if it is along the path back to Burder, we can point it out to the dwarves, and they can help us salvage it.
It's not on the path to Berida. It's off one of the rivers that join in to feed the larger one.
And
Okay.
And we already specified it's cracked, but it's in one whole piece, so we can't exactly take anything.
Right.
Yeah, you already tried to break bits off, and I was just like, "Nah, that's solid. You have no tools that
It's
can deal with that."
unobtainium at the moment.
Right, but she meant with a horde of dwarves.
You'd have to go to the dwarf city to figure that one out.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, she's like on the way back, we can help find it again.
Yeah, my character just slumps, like he just like his shoulders just slump. He's like, fine, I guess we'll use the boat. Maybe I'll be able to do some bird watching while we're on our way.
Okie dokie. So, we round up the rest of like the evening with discussions. Farak will bring out lovely food for dinner again. Nobody knows what's made of this one.
Owlbear legs.
Immediately upon saying bird watching, a thought returns to Otto. Wait, bird watching. The last time I did that, we saw something large. And then I start like in my mind, in his mind, he starts comparing the two forms, the shadow of what he saw fly past him and the form that the druid took when he left.
What, you thinking they're the same thing?
Maybe. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are they roughly the same size? That's all I'm really thinking of.
Size-wise doesn't make any sense after you think about it a little bit. No, because something to appear that big, that high in the sky,
it would have to be huge. Yeah. Okay.
It would have to be huge. And when he flew off, he basically flew off as
like a raptor,
some kind of like hawk.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Which is way small.
Yeah.
So
like it would be closer to like a rock or something. And by rock I mean ROC.
I know what you mean, and you wouldn't know what that is in game.
No, I know. I'm using that as an example.
But as a player, size-wise, probably closer to that size.
Okay.
So yeah, you finish off your evening with a nice hearty meal cooked by your guildie. You head to bed. You wake up in the following morning, and you kind of you want to go by boat, but you need to get a boat.
Mm-hmm.
So, who would like to try and find a boat?
I would like to try and find a boat.
My diplomacy in the city is terrible.
Perhaps we can look
I just want to know who wants to go and try find a boat.
Sure, let's do this.
I go.
So if you would like to take part in trying to find yourselves a boat, Roll an investigation.
I'm going to
Which I
tend to the garden
Okay.
while I'm waiting.
Just
Roll.
anybody who wants to try and find a boat or a way to get there by boat,
I
just
rolled.
roll an investigation.
Damn it. Ugh.
You got this, Josh.
One lower.
That's not bad.
Fine. I would as well. So normal.
Okay.
Different modifiers,
average.
same results.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So the following day, you kind of head around town. You try down at the docks. That's the obvious place. There's boats going. There doesn't seem to be any boats going from the docks like shipwise going up to Barada up that river. But some of the folks down there you speak to is sort of like, if you want to go up to Barada, you're probably better off trying to hook a lift off of one of the traders who brings the ore down. So that gives like Foreign and Zoho the, oh, hang on a minute, maybe we go talk to our blacksmith friend. Maybe he who supplies him might be whatever. So you go have a discussion with your blacksmith friend, and he says there's regular like his guy isn't due to come down or anything, but there are plenty of guys on a regular base. Like there's like one a day coming in
They're on a circuit between
to
the two
supply,
cities.
yeah, to
Yeah.
kind of like supply the blacksmiths and stuff, and just to bring things down. Not necessarily like stuff for the blacksmiths, but there tends to be like at least one boat a day coming down and then having to head back up.
Commerce.
And he basically points you towards like not a port, but like a small docks within that part of town where they tend to drop off the ore, and you're able to find yourself a trader who's going to be heading back up tomorrow, and he is willing to basically ferry people for 3 gold a person, and he'll take you up to Barada on his way back in the following day.
Okay.
So unless
works.
there's any arguments with pricing and stuff.
So 3-person, 15. Is he asking for it up front or when we all get to the boat?
Well, you'll pay him when you meet him the following day.
Okay.
Like it's like he basically tells you, if you meet him tomorrow morning with like before such and such a time at this little docking area, then 3 gold apiece, he'll ferry you back up, because he's got to go that way anyway. He'll also notify you that it'll take 12 days
Wow.
There and back, or there?
to get there.
10
It's
days.
12 days to get there because you're going upstream,
Oh, I'm not there.
so it takes a bit longer.
I don't
Mhm.
have anything to say.
This is still faster than cart, but that's the time frame you're looking at. I'm not going to have you do everything every day.
No, that's not my
So-
concern
Seven,
for hearing that.
Yeah.
10.
So-
I would suggest paying for another month at the stable then.
Yeah, we would have to, because we would get there on the 16th or the 17th, and then there would be 4 days when we would have to pay for the horse again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not to mention, and that's calendar-wise when winter starts, and that's kind of what Cayenne's trying to avoid.
I thought you were trying to avoid fire, not cold.
Well, it's still going to get cold, and people are averse to the cold, just not freezing cold.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a jacket for it. I'm not sure. She's not sure about the other 4.
Would you like to raise this with your guild friends? That time-wise, you may need extra layers.
Yeah. Yeah, Cayenne would bring up that she knows winter is like nearly around the corner. And the reason why she's been looking for a tailor is to use our pelts to at least get something warm for us. Or for the rest of them, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna point out that you've seen me in nothing but a long coat at all times. The only thing cold about me would probably be my sandals, but that's because I want to feel the earth a little bit easier. And I'm a big hairy gorilla.
Right, so
For vote for
Uh,
cows.
Cayenne reminds people of like that it's likely going to get cold. It's up to you, but you effectively have the rest of the. You have a day to basically prepare for before going to meet him to get the boat, because like you spend some time finding him, go talk to him. It's like, yeah, I'll take you up tomorrow when I go back. Blah 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 blah. So you basically got the afternoon to prepare. If you want to buy cold weather clothing, then it's going to be 4 gold for cold weather clothes. If you want to buy them now.
How
They're
much?
4 gold for some cold weather clothes.
Would
I
my
would
would my
suggest
character
doing so.
still apply need to get that kind of stuff? I'm just wondering.
Uh, well, yeah, you don't have any cold resistance or anything, so like
Okay,
it
so
may not.
I can't
Like
just
it's
say
up
like
to you
my
how far you want to go and risk it. You know you're not going like into the Antarctic, so you don't necessarily need them straight away. Cayenne's kind of going, maybe we should get it before
fair.
like
Okay.
before things go. So I'm not gonna. You don't need to feel forced into it.
No, it's like I'd rather be prepared. It's one of those situations like I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah.
Would I be able to dump some of my items at the guild? I need the
You can leave
unnecessary
anything
stuff.
you want at the guild.
I'll be right back. You guys keep talking.
Anything you want to leave behind at the guild, you just need to note you leave behind. Like put a note next to it that you don't have it while you're out there.
I'm just trying to think of what I want to get rid of to reduce the weight of what I have on me right now. Definitely gonna need the hooded lantern and oil for the Dwarven City.
You don't have to you don't have to do this exactly this second kind of thing. Obviously, you want to take your adventuring gear because you're
Yeah.
traveling and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and your armor and stuff.
I guess I should get rid of the bakery coupon and the tavern voucher because I think those have expired since we got them.
Sorry about that. Delivery.
No, there's no day on this. They're just coupons. I'm surprised no one's fucking cashed them in yet.
Haven't had a reason to yet. We've been eating
Forgot-
very well at the guild.
I forgot that. Wait, do I have one?
We all have one.
If it's in your inventory, you've got one.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't remember getting one.
Then you didn't win one.
Wait, weren't the free meals from the eating contest?
Pie contest?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no like this isn't modern day where it's like you have to use it by the end of next week or anything. They're just coupons. As long as they can be validated by the person, it's not like, yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to rush into like specific details right this second in the middle of the game.
I didn't miss anything specific while I was away, did I?
No.
Okay.
So basically, it's like you've got the afternoon. If you want to buy cold weather clothing because you think you're going to need it, then it's going to be 4 gold. There is a shop that you can easily find and
yeah, I'll grab it.
That's selling stuff. It's considering the time of year. It's all like they're starting to sell this stuff. Cayenne,
Zoho
did
will
you
also
want
get
to
some-
attempt? You can, if you want, you can attempt to go flog stuff or taxidermy such.
Yeah, I was about to say, Kai. If we brought the pelts with us, could you make the cost cheaper?
Well, it
So-
depends on what you want to do. You could effectively offer them in trade.
Or
You
use
wouldn't
them
be.
as
They
the
wouldn't be able
materials?
to like. They wouldn't be able to process
Okay.
them
Not
like
enough time.
and turn them into clothes for you in the time frame.
Yeah.
But you could offer them in trade to bring the price down. It's like, if I give you the stuff to make more, will you give it me cheaper?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can do that, that would be fine. But Cayenne would still keep the
Owlbear pelt.
no,
Or the head.
yeah, the owl head to get taxiderm, the owlbear head to get taxiderm, and the small boar pelt and small boar head to just get made into an outfit.
So how many pelts have you got? You've got the 2 larger pelts.
Yeah, the 2 large pelts, the one small boar pelt, and then the X amount of wolf pelts.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
How many wolf pelts were there?
There were like 6?
4? 6?
Oh, it's been
Okay.
so long.
3.
Oh.
3 wolf pelts and 3 scrap pelts.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And 1 large wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was the one bit. So that brings that to that. So with the quantity you're offering, they will offer you 10 gold for. They're not interested in the scraps, but the like actual pelts and the larger ones, they'll offer you 10 gold like monetary value for them, which effectively gets you what, 2.5 cold weather gear.
I was about to say that basically makes our cost 1.5 gold pieces per outfit.
Well, that depends if Kai's letting me use a backstory coat that was given to me. He has winter gear.
Which backstory coat is it from your background,
It
or is it like something written in the
it's
backstory?
it's backstory thing that happened before everything started going to shit.
Okay, I'm gonna roll it. So you have a couple of traveling gear, regular clothes, fine clothes, cold weather clothes. Okay. It is traveling gear.
So then it would just be a part of my traveler's clothes then. So yeah, I would have to buy one as well.
Yeah, I just rolled a dice
Okay.
to see which one of those it would be, because it was never specified to begin with, and we haven't really gone into where you're from enough to make hardy decisions on that. It's
Yeah,
traveling gear. It'll do in a light chill, but walking in the Arctic, no.
Yeah, no.
So,
It's a warm doublet, not actual like bird gear.
Bird.
Bird up.
Okay,
so-
yeah. So I guess I would pay the 2 for the for mine. We just need to figure out who else would be paying, because technically I could pay for all of it.
I did say that would basically allow us to pay for each of our outfits for 1.5.
yeah, you could
Well,
just split it. Well, it's more to do with the fact that Rill does not like giving away Horde.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
would like
so-
to pay for Rill?
It's
Who clearly doesn't like probably doesn't like the cold either.
Well, Well, considering we would be getting 2.5 coat for free, basically. I guess Real would be under the one of the free ones.
Yeah, why the hell not?
So you buy. So you need 5, right? It's
Yeah, we
5
need
of you.
5. Yeah, we have 5, and so we just need another 10 gold pieces.
Yeah, we're on a shopping spree now. I'm assuming. Like
So
we
it's
we
two.
moved, we moved on to.
Well,
a-
if you all just pay if you all just play 2 gold, 5 silver pieces each between you, Far, and Zoho and stuff, that just means it's split evenly across the group
2
of the
gold,
remaining
5
people.
silver.
Yeah, if everyone just deducts 2 gold, 5 silver, and do it as like a group pot thing,
Yeah, sure.
everyone gets to keep the hoard.
Yes. Real keyboard.
All right.
She's
So
gonna keep that hoard for as long as possible, I think.
Yeah, I know, right?
1
Done.
So 2 gold, 1 silver, done.
Yeah, and that means everyone's got cold weather gear for if it gets proper chilly. You've got your traveling arranged, which is I said 3 gold per person. Yeah, 3 gold per person.
Oh, I need to add that. Sorry. All right, that's done too. Who's paying for the horse this time? Are we all in agreement that it's me? I guess.
I mean, Kyan's the one that made the most. She can.
Okay.
She doesn't mind. She feels like she's in a good enough place. And how much was that again? For a month?
It was on the calendar somewhere. Oh no, did it get deleted? Oh no.
We can go back to that, and I'll deduct that after going through the videos.
Yeah, I think we accidentally overrid it with the editing
Whoops.
on the calendar. Because I had put it like from the first one, the price per day. And I can't see it.
Okay.
Well, I know you've got the money for it, so we'll sort that out after the game rather than looking it up now and slowing things down more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this brings us so
Probably gonna need to buy some more rations as well.
Actually, what are my rations at now?
So
Oh yeah, no, definitely gonna have to buy more. Oof.
I'm just gonna make a quick note here rather than prep. Make a note here. That's the estimated arrival time. Which will be just in time for. Oh, actually, that could. Interesting. Anything could happen.
Oh shit.
No, I'm looking at when the season change is currently estimated to happen,
Oh no.
but it's not. It's not a fixed date.
Yay. Crap.
You could get lucky. You could get a couple of extra warm days. You could get unlucky. You could end up just getting snowed on. So. That is a way for me to. So, everyone good with their inventories and monies?
Yeah.
Oh, I
just need to buy more rations.
That is one thing I
Oh, yeah,
forgot
how
to
many
add to
rations?
my thing was the warm clothes.
How much is rations?
Ration. Well,
Mm.
according to D&D Beyond, one ration is half a gold.
So 50 silver.
No,
No, five silver.
5 silver per day.
Five.
However, I don't use that one. It is 3 silver per day.
Uh,
I'm buying
God
20.
damn.
How much is that?
60
60 silver.
Okay.
which is 6 gold.
I also buy 20 rations.
yeah, I'm gonna do the same here. Yeah,
Right.
so-
Cayenne and Rill?
Okay, that would also put me at
So wait,
four.
how much gold does that come up to? 3 silver.
6 gold.
60.
Oh.
60 silver, so 6 gold.
N-
Right?
yeah.
It's 3 silver per day of rations.
And I update my number of rations to 27.
I'm at 25.
And I'm also leaving behind at the guild house all of the carnival stuff Zoho got, except for the notebook.
Yeah, I'm gonna, since we're
So
gonna
what
be,
do? Just remove all that stuff from my inventory,
No.
items, or
No,
How do we
you
do
just want
that?
to make a note. If you want to leave it in the guild, you just have to note. Don't delete it from your list because it will just disappear entirely.
mm-hmm.
You just want to like make a note. Put like a G next, like at the front of it or something, so you know it's in the guild.
Parentheses G.
Yeah, something like G at the front or something.
well, I've just realized I still have dwarven ale left.
Actually, also,
You're not gonna need that where we're going.
Yeah.
Zoho's
If-
also taking the magnifying glass. You never know.
If I were to sell the dwarven ale, how much would I get for that?
Depends on who you're trying to sell it to. Is it a keg?
Yeah, because I got 3 kegs and I only have 1 left.
Selling it to other dwarves.
Selling it to other dwarves will probably mean you'll be selling it on the lower side because they know exactly what it is.
Okay.
No.
Right,
I mean, if you-
roll a d100.
If you find a bunch of the link, which you can haggle.
I was gonna go with a tavern, but okay.
Well, I was using that as an example. That's all.
Okay, and roll a persuasion.
Oh, for.
Can I give him
Eh.
Can I give him advantage?
If you want to help, yeah.
Even though I have a 7 in persuasion.
So wait, I roll with advantage now.
Oh,
If
dude.
Cayenne helps, you can either roll separately or you just roll with advantage.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's either,
I'll.
it's
Okay,
either
so
I help, or it's either I help you, you help me, or we both row simultaneously.
You just rhymed.
no, well, we'll just help each other. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you have advantage
Um,
then because
Oh god.
it's dwarven shit.
You totally just
Woo!
rhymed.
Yeah, I know that was the point.
It was the point, and it was done brilliantly.
Someone will offer you 20 gold pieces for that keg.
I will sell it.
By combining efforts of haggling, you find someone who really likes their ale.
So now, how do I remove it from my inventory?
I'm gonna laugh my ass off if
Reduce the quantity by 1.
actually no, it wouldn't. It would.
There's like a thing. If you have multiple of it, I usually put like how many there are as uses.
Oops, didn't mean to click that. Oh, I gotta.
Oh yeah,
edit
because
it.
yeah. So you had
Uh,
3. and one has 10 uses in it. So like 10.
Yeah, and I
Ten-
just saw
ten-
that, which is why it's 0.
Oh, if it's 0, you can just delete it, so it's out the way then.
If
No, wait, you
my
don't have. So
sheet
if you
would load.
go, right, foreign.
Eh.
Yay, inventory manager 2022.
If my sheet
So if
wanted
you
to
wanted,
work,
I can do it for you. If
So
I
wait,
can
we're
find
talking about Resident Evil 4 this early? Gosh.
it. Right. It's the only awkward thing is
whoa.
there we go. Yeah, because you have to go into edit mode to remove it. There you go. One less thing clutter in the inventory.
So it registers me as having 33
If
pounds
you
of
close your
equipment.
character sheet and then like, wait, what? Register was what? 1,000?
No, as 33 pounds, even without the keg. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, don't use that as a perf. It's because the keg didn't have a weight on it.
Ah,
Because it's not a default item that you can add in.
okay.
Right, so
Now it's working. Hey. Shit. Eh.
yeah, where
Ooh.
was I?
Crud, I forgot about my tea. Ooh, this shit's gonna be really spicy.
Alright.
Uh-oh.
Did we get all our stuff done now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be done.
This is gonna suck. I have tea that has been
Beeping.
steeping for an hour.
I've had worse.
I mean, at least I have honey in it.
I'm more confused on why you said it would be spicy.
Because it's chai tea with lots of honey. If the
Why
honey's
the feck would you go with chai?
Oh, it's like I've spoken.
Hello, Zyka. I see
because
you've
I
woken up.
like chai tea. Leave me alone.
You heathen!
Careful there, lady. I am not an Earl Grey or green tea fan. Do not
Really?
insult me.
Either.
Oh yeah, then what do
Orange
you
Pico,
drink?
come on.
I like orange pico, but with the way I'm feeling, I prefer chai.
Oh goodness.
I like the smell. It's very wholesome.
Wholesome scent.
Right. Yeah,
Ah.
interesting.
Tastes so good.
Chai town.
And only Squeaky will get the joke.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you guys got your rations, blah 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 blah. Okay. So you spend the rest of the day like making sure you got enough rations. You buy yourself some cold weather clothes in case you end up stuck out in a bad day, with it being the time of year it is. And the follow like you just do your normal like rest of the day, go through the motions, and you head into the next day. And it's a cloudy day when you meet the fellow who has offered you
Mm.
a lift, and you're all like you get up, you pack up what you need, you head out, you meet with him. He greets you. He's quite a friendly chap.
And
He-
minus 4 gold now.
But
oh, it's free gold per person.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Right. Minus
And
3.
he happily greets you, apologizes that there isn't really seating and stuff, but it is a cargo boat.
Mm.
But he makes like he makes space. Like there's plenty of space for you to store your gear and stuff on the boat, like under a tarp, over the top in case the weather gets bad or whatever, and it's quite roomy for what it is, and surprisingly comfy considering it isn't made for people.
Yeah.
And you set off on what begins as pretty much just a cloudy, dreary, just a meh day,
Meh.
and it's sort of like you make your way out of town from the canal. There's a brief stop having to deal with the fucking guards that are just quickly checking things. The guy just kind of like shows them some papers to say he's a trader, and he's just on his way back with no goods and whatnot. And it's easy enough heading out to town, and you start following the bit of river that you know from your previous trip. You, at the end of this dreary day, he pulls over, like sets the boat over to the side, and like you set up like a little camp in this nice little like enclosed area, which seems to be regularly used by those traveling up and down this place. It's not too bad. Next day is quite much brighter, but uneventful. The guy basically spends his time kind of like just nattering way about like, how weather's pretty good today, stuff like that.
Mm.
He talks to you about like the fact that it's like this is a regular thing, and goes on about like when he gets back to Barada, he's probably going to settle in for winter because it's a pain in the ass traveling up and down when the snow starts falling and whatnot. He has two
River.
kids.
The rivers start running cold. Right.
Well, they always run cold. He has like two kids. He just he's just like filling the time with this like, like I have two kids. It's like their names are this, that, and the other. Nothing you have to remember. I'm not randomizing. All that kind of friendly. I talk a bit too much guy, but it's all well. Your next stop, you end up having to stop at a tavern in a little village just off the river on the next night. Kyan, would you like to perform? I know you like to perform.
Yeah.
This is
Let's
called
try-
the speed running of random days.
Speed run!
Okay, so
Wow.
they're quite impressed by Cayenne. They're happy to set you up, and they don't charge you for the night.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Whoa.
They can't really offer you much in the way of gold and stuff, but they're like, you can have the larger room if you're willing to share. You can have that. So Cayenne basically gets you a free night stay at the tavern
Freaking groupies.
in this little village town, somewhere between village and town. It's a bit one of those weird sizes. You can't decide yet.
Mm.
And the next day, you set up again and you head up into your boat. And it's all well and good until about hour before midday, like 11 o'clock in the morning ish, modern day time kind of thing. And the heavens decide to open up.
At the tavern, do we have to eat our own rations or no?
No, taverns, you don't have to eat your rations.
Okay.
You've only had one day where you've had to eat rations at this point.
Okay.
On this trip?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick that.
So the heavens open up, rain pours. You guys kind of like huddle under the tarp as best you can that keeps the gear closed.
Mm.
There's a brief thunderstorm in the middle of this, but it doesn't last very long. It's just like passing, and you get like to the next village. It's like there's not really it's a small village. There's not really a tavern here, but like they're friendly folk. Like they're friendly folk. They tend to offer shelter for the night for the traders heading up and downstream. So It's like you have to go with you have to provide your own food, but like you get shelter and that. So that would be another rations effectively.
Okay, that's another ration.
Is that 3 days or 2 days?
2 days worth of rations.
Okay.
2 more or 2
No,
total?
2 total so far.
2 total so far.
Okay.
I'll put an R in the boxes for Cayenne to keep track because I
Thanks.
think they're looking at here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next day, same kind of thing. Cloudy weather after a bad day, but not too bad. This time you had like there's a little docking area and stuff where you set up at the end of the day, set up a camp. This is not close to a woodland, so if you want to try and forage to save on rations, you can spend
Yeah, let's go for that.
Forage.
so if you want so basically roll a survival if you want to try and save rations.
20.
Okay.
Skills. Let's see if. Oops. I rolled the wrong one.
You did roll the wrong one.
You got up
You managed
the
to
tree.
avoid tripping over a route on getting off the boat and didn't manage to successfully not land in the river.
It probably
So-
would have been funny. Probably.
So you're able to find some local like fauna that is edible and whatnot between you.
Okay.
You get enough to cover like half the party. So like if you mix it in with two lots of rations, you can feed everybody.
Who hasn't spent rations yet?
I think
Well,
everybody
technically,
spent
everyone should have
rations.
spent rations.
Zyka,
At least-
hang on. Zyka, I'm going to ask this now. Does Rill even have enough ration?
Do you not trust Rill on how to survive?
Well, considering we're not stopping to hunt. Except for, like, today.
Rill's probably got a secret stash of snacks somewhere.
Okay.
At least that's what I'm imagining right now. It's like there's just
Nom, nom,
pockets
nom,
full
nom,
of
nom, nom,
there's
nom.
pockets full of kaite treats. That also work as real treats.
Nom, 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 nom.
Okay, I guess Cayenne would contribute 2 of her rations. 'Cause she has like 30. And they would have been gone anyway, so nothing has changed.
Next day is a nice clear day. There's a bit of a nice breeze behind you that helps get you moving, so you end up stopping like earlier in the day, which gives you more time to actually do things. So if you want to try survival again, you might have a bit more luck this time around because you get a bit more time to
Survival.
work the local area.
Red.
I rolled the exact same. I'm using a ration.
Oh
is
no, real.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
No, you managed to find enough stuff to not ration today. It's like you managed to like catch yourself a wild rabbit, fairly big one. There's a bit of a group effort going on with people like Rill and Kaite trying to get it, but they spook it, but it runs off and like away from them and ends up running into Zoho, who's like, yoink.
Just grab it by its ears.
as it tries to run past because it didn't notice him there.
Mm.
Uh,
Glances at Real. Is this yours? Just something. And he lets Kaite snatch it out of his hand. I will take that as a yes.
so next day comes horrible weather again, pours down with rain. Not so happy. You end up having to like set up camp, and because of the weather being so bad and that, you decide that it's best not to venture out and just use your rations that you've got because you've got plenty because you buy so many. You crazy people.
Again, I'd rather have it and not need it than not have it and need it.
Next day is nice, uneventful. You've come across a town that you sell up. You can stay in a tavern for 2 silver pieces.
Do you want to? Anybody?
2 silver
I wouldn't
pieces
mind.
paid for. That's for each
Yeah.
dude. You're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's each person. This is per
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, 2 silver. Yeah.
Plus a
Right.
roof over your head, get yourself a nice breakfast in the morning. It's a B&B.
It's 10 silver for 1 gold, right?
Yes.
Just doing math. Okay.
Zoho is making change.
Looks at Real to see if she's actually paying or if I am.
So quiet.
It is very quiet.
That is a point. I completely forgot to put my background music on. Sitting here wondering
Watching,
what's going on.
waiting, wondering. All that day is.
Uh,
Real handing over her 2 silver or no?
but the horde. At some point, someone's going to have a conversation with Rill and how many works.
Diane has tried. She looks at Zoho.
Hmm?
You're explaining to her and getting her to realize she has to pay. I've tried multiple times.
What are you
I
talking
pay
about? It's
for-
hilarious to see her fight that.
Except when the point comes Otto, when the only one that has money is her.
And?
She's not going to give it up.
Okay, that's her responsibility, though. That's for her to decide. She's a grown woman.
Finally, he realizes Rill's an adult.
I
Yes.
never assumed otherwise.
I always forget because I always play freaking certain characters.
Yeah, my
that just
my
fuck with
character
people's
knew that the
heads.
whole time. He doesn't give a shit. He's like go with the flow. He likes
Go
to
with the
help when possible,
flow.
but yeah. Not
Okay.
not hippie levels of go with the flow, but yeah.
Alright.
Okay, and pays this one time, but after that,
No.
debatable.
I mean, if you
It's,
want, if you want
Depends.
her to start paying for things, you really gotta stop doing it for her.
Hmm.
I mean, I can speak Draconic and explain this to her, and if she tries to pretend she doesn't understand, I can go, well, you want food? You can't have food.
Or, you know,
Money.
you can let.
Alright.
I mean, okay. You gotta understand. She is totally capable of taking care of herself. She was taking care of herself before she met us, and she'll be taking care of herself after she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but a
But-
quick question. How many times has she actually interacted with civilization?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm a druid. Do you realize how little I do that too?
Hmm.
I don't considering your situation versus is whatever is happening with Rill. We know a better understanding of what's happening with you better than what's happened to Rill.
Alright. Ready for the next day?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, next day is terribly, terribly uneventful. And, however, you come across another town, but you don't have to pay or anything here. There's a
Adventurous skill.
there's lodgings just for the workers on travels at this town
Ah.
where they can stay the night. So it's quite if you want, you can roll performance here as well.
Okay.
There's enough this town's big enough that you may be able to gather some interest while you're here.
Real's wondering. Oh, for goodness.
Oh, I read that completely. I read that completely wrong. I read that as real wonders, not wonders.
She wandered off.
But she was wondering about something.
Hmm.
So,
wonder if Rill should have big horde or bigger horde.
You pull in 1 gold and 6 silver for your performance. Was that wandering meant to be the day before, by the way? Or
I have no idea.
'cause I misinterpreted that. Okay. Would you prefer to do it here? Because I've accidentally skipped the day. Okay. Can you roll a D100, please?
What?
Real. 52. Right.
Why do I get the
So,
feeling something weird is going to
while
happen?
in this town, for which has lodgings for the workers traveling up and down river. You walk into a random shop. You have no idea why you came in here. And you kind of look around. It's very noisy. Lots of animals,
Oh no.
all seeming to be in cages.
Real no.
Of
Trapper.
varying sizes.
Oh no.
Real-
No.
no.
Real, no. I don't know what is going on.
You're not
Real
even
didn't
there.
read that list, no.
Real found a random pet shop.
Oh no, she's going to let them all loose.
No.
There's a variety of animals in here. There's a few different types of birds. There's a few dogs. some cats.
Why you do this to us?
Because why not?
Just randomness. Rill blows the whistle. When you
Zoho
blow the
immediately hears it.
whistle,
What the? Oh no.
so
This is
when
the
you blow the
Avatar:
whistle
The
in
Last
this,
Airbender episode with the zoo all over again.
yeah, I know exactly which whistle. All hell kind of breaks loose.
Mm.
All the dogs in this pet place, all in their cages and whatnot, all start going bonkers.
Like I said, this is the Avatar: The Last Airbender episode with the zoo.
I never
It was-
bothered
you- you-
asking,
you-
but does that affect me as well, or just beasts?
Nope. No, it's not. But yeah, you thought it was kind of a bit noisy when you first walked in here. It's now a lot louder. To the point where you may have to like put your hands over your ears. Every dog in this place is barking as loud as it can and trying to get out the cage.
And high wisdom saving throw.
As you as you kind of like frantically like try to like you're trying to like calm them down, but the problem that there's too many. Like just when you think you get one to calm down, like you head over to the next one and another one sets off the one that you just calmed down for a second. It's like
It's
this
a
may have been a bad idea.
It's a freaking domino effect.
And you oh no.
Oh, crap.
You just hear like in the back room a loud like clanging as it sounds like someone falls over and it's like and you try to like calm all the animals down and it's like as you're getting that and you're just getting bombarded with like me, pick me, give me food. Like, all these kind of emotions of wanting something.
They want to be picked. They want a home. Ah, what the hell? Zoho tags along. Well, he follows he follows the sound of the whistle to the pet shop and
You
throws.
can't hear the whistle, Zoho.
Ah, come on.
I told you.
I've said this from day one. It's not a whistle people can hear. It's like a dog whistle.
That's why I asked if
Can
I
you
could
hear
hear
the
it.
barking?
I follow Zoho.
Are you in
and the
wolf form?
sound
No.
I know, but
and
I
the
do
sound
have
of the
different
pets.
ears. That's why I was asking.
Question. Sorry. Can I hear the barking?
Make a perception check.
Thank you.
So, now you're getting chimes, so you do not hear the barking.
Ah.
You notice Rill's gone, but you don't hear the barking and don't know where she's gone. It's like now you have sort of like now you have them going, choose me, me beloved. And after a minute or two, this person comes from the back and like just lets out this mighty bellow of quiet as they slam like this cane against the wall.
Uh-oh. Rail's in trouble.
And then there's like a sudden whimper from all the dogs as they go and suddenly go quiet. And you see this guy standing in the doorway while you're there holding Kaite up. It's like he looks at you and goes, You selling? Buying.
No.
You want some of the dogs? Okay, buying. Are you looking companion, hunting? Got some fighters in here too. You know, fighting. Let them go at it. Maybe you make some money.
But excuse me.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. If you're not in for fighting, just some more company. Got some lapdogs. No cats don't. Tell you this bird. This bird. This nice bird. This can talk.
Burb.
Well, I don't know what a beloved is. But I'm willing to sell you any you pick. Right. So you want one that can hunt lizards?
He is bad at negotiating.
This one's a good. This one's a good hunter.
He's big derp.
Taps on the cage. He looks at you confused, in bewilderment. It's like, are you biting or not? Yes. You're here. I don't know who Asa Wonder is, but you're the only one I've seen today. Okay, you're Asa. Asa, would you like to buy something? Oh, all the dogs, or
Real now.
cats and the birds.
Oh,
Right.
Why?
Okay. Well, this one here. Well, he starts like counting on his fingers how many, like, to figure out as he's trying to
Oh,
figure out the math. It's like,
no.
so
She's gonna go broke.
I've got 6 of those, 3 of those. Uh, 4 stinking barn cats. 2 parrots. One of those. Okay, if you want them all, the 83 gold pieces.
Oh gosh. That's almost all the reward, Danny. You-
Mm.
Mm.
I don't quite get you, miss.
Uh,
Can't quite afford all of them? Well, if you want just the dogs, that will be... 47.
I mean, she's not wrong.
somewhere out in the distance, somewhere, Otto sneezes.
Okay,
You just hear me sneeze in the background.
if you want the cats, I'll sell them for 20. If you want this lovely talking bird here, that will be 15. He gestures over to the corner, and there seems to be this like scruffy, old-looking parrot sitting in a cage. Looks like it's falling asleep, even with all the racket. Yeah, I can talk. Come on, wake up, you bastard thing! And he taps the cage, and this bird feathers just ruffle, and it's like just squawks.
I'll be back.
Talk aloud. Yeah, dogs. Watch. And he picks out he rubbages in the pocket and like pulls out like some kind of food, holds it up. He's like, "Come on, talk." And it lets out this squawk that kind of sounds like food, but isn't really a word. Go on then. He just stands and watches. Shoe? This is my shop. My voice is going into that same aspect again. I came from here. If you're not going to buy something, you're going to have to just leave. I've got stuff to do.
Oh no.
Is that the one I think it is? That's going to be the one I think it is, isn't it? Okay. So the bird kind of like sidles over on the perch in the cage and like takes the berry. It's like, and it just kind of like looks at you, like turns its head sideways, so it's got one eye like dead on you. Looks like it's a bit more awake now.
Still in the pet shop.
I'm still in
Yes.
the pet shop.
She is now telling the owner to get lost. Oh no.
Yes!
What? What?
You see the man kind of like peering around the doorway. It's all like, so you want to buy it? 17 gold. Very well. So you just pass him the 17 gold. He unhooks the cage from the hanger it's on. Takes the money from you in one hand and holds out the cage.
Lots of dinging.
Yes.
The-
Hmm?
Ding, Zoho's done. Ding, Zoho's done. I mean, what?
The bird kind of like just turns its head to the side again and just stares at you with its big one eye. But it doesn't seem to want to come out of the cage. Yes!
Oh no.
Still doesn't move out the cage though. Are you trying to stick your hand in the cage to get it on on your hand now?
Oh no.
Yeah, if you just open the, if you hang on. Yeah, if you're just opening the door, it just won't come out. If you try to get it out, it is. So you put your hand in the cage and kind of like push it against its belly, and it like reluctantly just like holds onto your hand with one of its feet, and holds onto the perch with the other. So you're now holding. You basically got the cage in one hand with your hand in the doorway, and the parrot's basically holding onto the perch with its like left claw, and then it's got its right claw like latched onto your hand. And as you start to gently pull, it kind of like lets its legs like start stretching out, so it like starts to do the splits.
This is one determined bird.
And it kind of like grabs onto the cage with its beak.
Yep.
You're getting the feeling this bird isn't comfortable with going into big spaces.
Why are you rolling? You're not there.
No idea.
They're not even making loud noises right now.
The tag.
So you leave the happy pet shop owner with 17 gold and leave with a bird in a cage, still with one hand in, like with being held on by
Oh my gosh. This is a wonderful,
one
crazy
claw.
nut bar story.
You have just successfully brought a parrot that has agoraphobia.
I'm
Agor-
sorry. Did you say acrophobia or agoraphobia?
I believe it is
Agoraphobia.
Oh, jeez. That's
Oh.
it
even
has spent
worse.
its entire life in a cage. It does not want to go into a bigger world. It's like, this is home.
That's even worse.
I'm not fixing this.
You have a parrot now.
In a cage.
And a cage. You can work at it.
I need to go AFK for a moment. I got a notice about a package. I need to go check that real quick.
He's fine. I did the same earlier.
Welcome to random encounters when you wander off some.
Yep.
So you wander back to where everyone's staying for the night
Oh,
With-
that's a nice
with your
bird
new-
you have there.
with your new parrot.
I see that.
It does eventually let go on your travels, so you can remove your hand from the cage.
I mean, only if you're willing.
Oh god, what have I done?
Yay, my first
Yeah.
bird!
Damn it! It only lasts a minute. Wait.
Oh no, what did you do?
1, 2.
I'm getting a burb!
1, 2, 4.
You're not getting a bird. Real has a bird.
Yeah. Bird form. Sorry. Specific wording. Even then, I don't technically have the requirements to use flying anyway.
Or 8.
Yes!
16.
Trying to remember. Ah, I didn't mean to click that. I wanted to click
32. An hour.
6. I didn't mean to click that. I didn't mean to click all that. I just wanted to look at the speech of peace and leave.
Start clicks all the buttons.
I keep forgetting how to condense and
The condense
yeah,
button.
I forgot.
So yes, congratulations. You have a new pet. I will have to find an image for this later.
I'm thinking something green.
I need. I want to look something up because I think it's funny.
So, you introduce your new parrot friend to Otto, who seems far too excited about meeting a bird.
Just imagine one of those one of those cartoons with the goofiness, like the rubber hose style cartoons, where I'm just like have one of those like really happy faces with the giant cheeks. It's like, oh. Anyway, while we're waiting to shove off and move on, I'm just gonna sit there and observe the bird. Because why not?
So you settle in for the evening. Otto spends too much time staring at a bird. It seems quite it seems weird. It seems to have quite a bit of energy, but doesn't really know what to do with it. it just kind of like waddles backwards and forwards, like across its perch, like taps on the cage, like flaps its wings as best it can.
I also see if its wings have been clipped or anything is out of place
Oh
or
no,
anything
it's
like
not
that.
clipped.
Okay.
It's literally just been in a cage for a very long time.
Okay.
And kind of occasionally says what seems to be words, but not quite words.
Hmm.
You get a general gist of like, but it doesn't make it doesn't make any logical sense. It just randomly like spouts out a random word
Okay.
every now and again.
I'd use
Uh,
speech of beast and leaf, but I'm not sure if he can actually respond.
They understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return.
Exactly. So unless
So yeah, you just get you get random squawks and things in return,
Yeah,
but
unless they
nothing
can actually
coherent.
speak. Yeah, unless they can actually speak, I can't understand anything.
So you end up resting at this place for the night, and the following day you set off your next part of the journey with new companion in tow. Who you set just underneath the tarp so it can like get the fresh air but not be open to the elements.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to snow.
Oh no.
Only a light flurry. Lasts for a fair bit of the journey, but it's an indication that weather's starting to get a bit nippy. You can feel it around your toes, Otto. Why on earth are you wearing sandals?
Because I want to feel the earth,
Um,
damn it.
it's it's actually quite pleasant. Unless you've never seen snow before, then you're probably infused by it. Um, I think everyone at this point in this party has seen snow.
I think so. I believe my forest was
Really
near
much.
the base of a mountain, so.
I don't think anyone's from like a desert or anything.
Nah.
I'm predicting Kaite may be doing the mlem as trying to eat snowflakes. Is always fun for. Yeah, exactly. And you go on
3.
to the next, as far as you can, up to wherever you can go, set up your next camp. This is going to be a ration day. In the middle of the night, you briefly get woken up for a couple of minutes because you just hear some random sound, and you realize it's the parrot friend just clattering in the cage,
Yeah.
but it doesn't like affect you too
Ooh.
badly.
Mm.
Same kind of routine on the following day, just cloudy rather than snowing. Set up a camp.
I'm back.
Uh,
What did I miss?
Nothing.
Not a lot.
Borb.
We have a bird.
Unless you completely missed your new companion.
I might
has
as well
not-
have.
He has not. He has not got a name.
We've
Yet.
got a Borb.
Okay.
You head into. So the next day is effectively same routine, just cloudy rather than snowing, and end up using rations again. And you come into the next, and you head off first thing in early morning, nice and breezy.
Mhm.
And you're traveling along.
Are we still on the boat?
And yeah, this is all on this is all boat journey. It's like you just stop
Okay.
for each day on the riverbank or at the
Ah, okay.
like local town / village.
The pit stops.
Yeah, it's all pit stops. This is why it's kind of like just some little things happen, but nothing exciting is happening. There's suddenly a clonk, and it feels like the boat hit something, but it keeps going. There's that
I l-
moment. It's like, did I hit something? Nah.
Oh no.
I look.
You luck.
Yeah.
Make a perception.
I'm also going to look, but on the other side.
I'm going to take a look. I feel like this is a really bad idea, but okay. Wait. Oh, wow.
Thorin sees nothing.
Roll perception, please. Roll. Roll sees the back of the behind of the boat. It has a nice boot. The boat has a nice booty.
Hmm.
For a boat. You don't really notice anything in the waters or around, and you keep going for a little bit. Clonk. Hang on, didn't we just do this? And you kind of like look around again. This second time. It's only been like 10 minutes. This time, Cayenne, you see what appears to be a barrel floating
Oh wait,
just behind.
perception. I forgot to roll perception.
Yes, roll perception.
I am sorry.
It's
Eh.
okay. You joined the club of bad perception rolls.
Yeah.
Subpar, thank you.
Cayenne, as you look over the side of the boat this time, it's sort of like you notice the barrel floating, like just floating past, just after you got bumped.
Wait, did she
Okay.
roll a second time? Because I only see the one.
No. First time wasn't enough, but the second time some of these rolls will hit. I'm not gonna have you roll every single time. That's silly.
Not what I meant, but sure.
No, nobody saw anything. Wow.
Not the first time.
That's what I'm.
Second time, Cayenne spots a barrel.
Yeah, that's what.
No, he's not having us do multiple rolls. He's going down the line of if if the second barrel didn't hit us, we still wouldn't have seen anything. I only seen something because I had a 14 and we were actively looking for it.
Oh, okay, I see. I'm sorry.
And and Turp stated the opposite side of the boat, so his 13 doesn't hit.
No, that's fine. I heard she and assumed it was real.
Oh, it's Cayenne.
Yeah, sorry.
Cayenne spots a barrel floating down the river, which you can assume is probably what just bumped you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clonk.
I look up the river.
Right. I'm gonna have everyone roll again on the third one.
No, I heard the side it was on, so I kind of joined Cayenne on that one this time.
Hmm. Roll perception again.
Oh,
So
I see
apparently
absolutely
sees
nothing.
I have to roll perception
Better.
again.
And Zoho
Yeah.
sees everything.
Looks well. Hi, and Cayenne, look straight.
Oh, hey, I got a better roll.
Look straight ahead. Everyone else looks at the front of the boat.
Right. So basically, it's all like Otto. You go to take a look over the side of the boat. Everyone out, like the Cayenne seems to be looking over, and as you do it, so like you, like Baron just like stands up to get a better look, look at what's going on and blocks your view.
Mm.
Zoho, Farin, Rill, and Cayenne.
Mm.
As you're looking around, you see there's debris floating down the river. As like there's been a barrel. You think you see another barrel. There's a couple of planks of wood.
Oh no.
I
Zoho
turn
rushes to the front of the boat to get a better look.
I turn to the dwarf boat owner. Should we be concerned about how many barrels and planks of wood we've been hitting?
Well, I am a little concerned that we don't want to hit any more.
Oh, great.
But I'm going to guess that someone upstream had a bit of a bad time. No, I've never seen a boat in this many pieces.
Oh, that's concerning.
Can I pull one of the barrels out of the water?
Well, it depends on.
Roll athletics to try and grab one as it goes past.
Oh, nat 20.
Hey!
Nat 20.
So as your boat controller is trying to avoid the debris that's coming as not to like damage the boat that you're on, you manage to like scoop up a barrel that's on the way past. It feels it's heavy, but not in. But doesn't seem. But it's obviously floating, so it's probably not that dense. If that makes
Crowbar?
sense.
It feels like there might be, I don't
If
know,
it-
spices?
No, it's more like possibly liquid.
Oh.
Considering it's heavy but still floats.
Yeah, I check for a hole to see if I can't like dip my finger in to see what the wares are.
There is no hole.
Hmm. I pop the
Otherwise,
lid.
the whatever's in it wouldn't be in it.
Well, no, I mean like if it's like a wine barrel, there would be like a cork on it or something.
No, there isn't a hole.
Okay.
You can attempt to. You guys can easily open it with the tools and stuff you have. I'm pretty sure someone's carrying a crowbar.
I am. So that and the crowbars give advantage.
Well,
So-
let's see what poor soul lost.
Well, if you're opening it, you have advantage because of crowbar.
Your what?
It's just another athletics.
Okay.
It's strength again.
Eh,
Brute force and
yeah.
ignorance.
Goodness gracious, why?
Good job we're not in a fight today.
Ah.
It's enough to open it though.
Okay.
It's not. You managed to pop the top, and you look inside, and it appears to be like some kind of oily substance.
I dip my finger and put it to my mouth. My pinky finger.
Yep, this is oil for lanterns.
Ah.
I don't
That
know
is
if-
not edible.
Yeah, that's why you try it with fire first.
No, I recommend not with fire.
Well, not the entire barrel.
Anyways, this could be useful in the future. Let's save this. And I put the lid back on.
Wait, what was in the barrel?
Lantern oil.
Oh.
Okay, well,
Meanwhile, Zoho is at the front of the boat looking ahead.
group loot.
Yeah, as you're looking ahead and peering, like you see, it's like you see the debris kind of spread out, but it's all slowly like making its way, and you can't like see one or two bits that's like you see a bit off to the side that looks like it's got stuck on a bank.
I keep going fishing.
Roll a d100 then.
Yeah. And you know what I mean by fishing.
Right. You can get a plank of wood, but no more barrels.
Alright, fine.
And it's like after about
I want to inspect it for the damage.
like another 15 minutes or so, you kind of like don't spot any more ahead of you. You feel like you've most of it's like, but as you like spend this 15 minutes in time, you kind of like watch the bits of like there's a couple of places on the banks where things have got caught and whatnot, and you kind of like watch. There's it's like watch stuff going like floating down river. Um, you don't really get able to get any other barrels and stuff because
They've already gone
the
ashore.
your guy is trying to avoid hitting stuff, so he's putting in some effort to best navigate away from things running into the boat.
The 3
So
Ds of
like,
avoidance.
but yeah, you pass a wrecked boat, but you continue on your journey up the river, and as you uh, keep an eye out now you're like aware of something's happened. You kind of like keep an eye out on like the banks or anything just to see if there's a people maybe or
Mm-hmm.
more things, but you don't see any sign of. But during this time, you don't see any sign of people.
Is there any clear indication on the piece, the scrap woods, or whatever I collected, of the type of damage?
It's type of damage.
Yeah, like impact.
It looks like it was ripped apart.
All right. So is there claw
Like
marks or?
it doesn't. It doesn't like considering it's in pieces. It's more likely something's like. This is not a. I've crashed into something. A chunk has splintered off the
This is more
off the
like
side
somebody
and
has
it
grabbed two
sank.
sides and pulled it
It
apart.
looks like something's deliberately
Okay.
pulled this apart and like rip parts off. There are like a couple of bits that are like look like part of a boat, like the back end like floats past at one point, which is like a bunch of planks put together, but it's literally just the flat board that makes the back of the boat on its own.
Okay, whatever this is, I say we stay alert. Last thing we want is for us to be in the drink and unrecoverable.
Yeah.
But you continue on the journey, more aware. When suddenly you hear a loud boom.
The fuck?
Followed by a loud shriek.
Which
And
direction?
as you look out, and as you look over in the direction that the sound come from,
Hmm.
you see a gathering of storm clouds, specifically on. It's an unnatural gathering. It's like a very specific pinpoint location storm.
Alright, so is it
You can
like
actually see both ends from where you are.
is it like the situation we had with the wind elemental?
Mm.
Kind of, but on a much smaller scale.
Okay.
So, like the wind elemental, when you're in the forest, when the clouds and stuff started rupturing out and stuff, it went on to the point like it kept going until you couldn't see the edge anymore.
Uh,
Whereas this you can clearly see. It's like one small gathering of clouds, about 100 foot in the air,
okay.
and you just hear this loud boom from that direction, followed by a shriek.
Do we know if the boom was from the storm or from like say weapons fire?
Considering we don't have like actual guns in this, it would be a thunder
I
kind
mean,
of boom.
uh Josh's character has guns, no?
No, I have a
No,
turret.
he has a magical turret.
Oh, okay, so
That's
it doesn't launch with booms. It launches with magic. Okay, gotcha.
It launches with zooms, not booms.
Yeah. Okay.
Zoom.
Fair
Zooms,
enough.
not booms.
I'm sorry. I thought guns. Sorry.
But yeah, off not not too far ahead of you, like off the side of the river, is kind of like where this is happening.
Hmm.
And then a few moments later, there's another boom, and you see a flash of lightning come out of these clouds and hit the ground.
Ferryman, you think we should maybe help those people? We are adventurers.
Well,
Hmm.
personally, I wouldn't go anywhere near that kind of thing, but
I mean,
I
you
could.
don't
I
have
could.
to.
If you want to risk your lives, I can set aside uh, set aside on the bank a bit further ahead.
Yes, if we don't return by nightfall, you can go ahead without us, I guess, or in a couple of hours.
But he's fine to
No.
set. He's fine to set up on the bank, and this is where we'll
Whoops.
be leaving it.
Can I Arcana it just to see if it's like if it's magical in nature just from this distance?
Nope, because we're leaving it here.
Damn
All
it.
I want you to do is place yourselves on the boat where you were sitting. Roughly.
Hmm.
I'm eager to help, so. Alrighty, folks, that's us for tonight. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night for some Terraria, and we'll see you guys again next week on
Or
Saturday.
D&D.
Oh, for some more D&D?
Yes, because that's the normal day.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
back. We're going back to the regular schedule, so we'll see you guys for D&D as normal, and then next week we'll see you for Final Fantasy XIV. See you guys then.